Hey Danielle, thank you so much for joining me on our little podcast booth we have here. For any listeners and watchers, we are live from the Customer Success Festival in London. And yeah, it's been a great first day. How have you found it?
Yeah, it's been absolutely incredible. Honestly, being able to meet with so many industry professionals. In CS, no one's doing the same thing effectively. So, it's been so nice to get so many different opinions and see so many different use cases in CS and what people are up to. So, yeah, it's been brilliant.
It's been a crack. And thank you so much for taking time out of what is, a chock-a-block day. Tearing away from talks you really want to see. So thank you.
No problem.
But for the purposes of our viewers, would you mind explaining a little bit about yourself? What's your customer success background up to date?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been customer facing for over a decade now, but I've been in customer success for about 4.5 years. I'm currently a senior customer success manager at TryHackMe, and I manage a team of 4 CSMs. TryHackMe is a cybersecurity e-learning platform that's heavily gamified and a super fun product. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you very much. That sounds incredibly varied. Yeah. It kind of brings me on to talk about what I'd like your 2 sessions that you've spoken about. Part of a panel discussion on it was talking about imposter syndrome, weren't you?
Yeah. So I was just part of a roundtable with a number of customer success people, I suppose, customer success leaders, I guess. And I ran it, and it was about imposter syndrome and overcoming self-doubt. So it was really interesting, actually. I tried not to talk as much as I could and let a lot of people, participate and speak their own truths. But overall, I think people got a lot out of it. And, for me, it was just really interesting to hear everybody's takes on it, and everyone has their own individual story. So, imposter syndrome can be really crippling, and it never happens in a room you don't want to be in. It actually happens in a room that you definitely do want to be in, but you feel like you shouldn't be in. And what I say to that is, when you're thinking to yourself, who am I to be in this room? Well, who are you not to be in this room? Do you know what I mean?
True.
And I think building your inner confidence and building that trust with yourself that you can do something scary, but, once you've got that validation that you can indeed do it, it helps you do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So, yeah, it was a really interesting topic to discuss.
Oh, definitely. And especially considering customer success is such a people-facing role, and you have to be a real people person, and you have to be that go-to. You're the face of the company for the customer. You are that, their point of contact. So it must be a real challenge if you're having a self-doubting day, which all of us do.
Yeah,
all of us have.
Absolutely. I think with the title that CS is a people-oriented job, there's actually a lot of pressure on people that are quite introverted and aren't naturally, people.
Yeah.
But actually you do find that there's a good mixture in CS of people that are extroverts and introverts. And it's also, how do you be a people person when you don't feel comfortable being in front of people, So it's, I think the thing to take away is that, being confidence is a skill. It's not something you're born with, and anybody can learn to feel more comfortable in their own skin talking in front of people.
Absolutely. And there'll be so many situations that customer success managers find themselves in where they have to make tough decisions. They have to have those tough conversations internally and with clients. And I can just imagine those, when you on those days where you don't feel like you have the confidence, that can be a real tricky thing to do. And because you're obviously wanting to lead with a human first approach, and you want to, So you previously joined me on the podcast a while back, and you spoke about sort of ingraining a human first approach, human sort of centric approach to all aspects of your kind of professional life.
Yeah.
And it's so important. I think your presentation on your session on imposter syndrome really kind of highlights that and really brings that to the fore, because at the end of the day, we are all human.
Yeah,
we are all human.
exactly.
Sorry, not going to shock the world. We are all human. And I just think it's such an incredible session. Do you find that some of the challenges of being in a human first pause actually. Start that again. Well, I've just gone off piece, sorry.
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so there are obviously a lot of challenges that comes to sort of leading with that kind of human first approach. And we've spoken about this before, but I was wondering, do you find that with more and more there are barriers being put up to preventing the sort of human first approach, particularly with the rise of artificial intelligence, which is something you're speaking about in tomorrow's session, and really trying to balance that kind of sort of human sentiment and actually really making sure the customer is at the heart of every decision, and it's a genuine, and every sort of step is forming a genuine connection and building upon that relationship. And AI, obviously, it's been, there's so much noise about it. So would you be able to talk us a little bit more about the sort of challenges you have found, and you have heard, the conversations you've had perhaps with other customer success professionals about how they're dealing with sort of implementing AI and automation in an effective way, but still maintaining, that genuine human connection and thinking of the customer as an actual person rather than just a statistic in their database.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's like two schools of thought, isn't there? Like, there's people that, similar to the internet, I think when the internet first came about, there's like one famous guy, I can't remember his name, but I think that he said, this isn't going to last,
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those where you either lean in or you lean out. And I think in order to be a CSM in this ever-changing landscape, you've got to lean in, right? But then it's how far and in what way do you lean into the rise of AI? And I think it depends on, firstly, your segmentation. So there's obviously going to be higher touch customers and lower touch customers that you look after in your portfolio. So thinking about what AI solution works best for what specific segment of customer base. For your high touch customers, you want them to feel that they have that hyper personalized experience with your company. Now, there are definitely ways that you can implement AI into that, customer journey, but they're going to be a little bit more under the radar than kind of, AI processes that you would implement for tech touch, for example, because I suppose you don't really necessarily care. Well, not that you don't care, but, it's expected that for tech touch that there's going to be less personalization,
sure.
But you still want to make sure that whatever you're implementing feels like it's got some level of personal touch.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Can you maybe speak to some of the challenges you've faced, and how have you been implementing AI at TryHackMe? Have you found there have been some things that you've maybe tested that have maybe just, fallen flat a bit, and you thought, okay, we need to regroup a bit and actually sort of, rather than just using AI because everyone's talking about AI, which, God, 2023, everyone's been talking about AI. But have there been things you've sort of thought, like, you've tried and maybe that hasn't worked, maybe, we could have done better, we'll do better next time or something like that?
Yeah, so I think AI has sort of crept up on me. So it started with predictive AI, when you're in your Gmail, for example, or when you're, typing a document, whatever it might be, and it sort of predicts what you're about to say.
So those little things that just do people and you don't even think
about them. Yeah, exactly. And I didn't even realise for a long time what I was doing. And then actually I realised there's definitely kind of a quality issue there. So if you actually accept all of those predictions, it's actually sometimes what you've written doesn't make sense. So it's about quality control. But I also think it's about the scope and when's appropriate to use certain technologies. So we use Gong AI. So Gong is a platform that integrates and basically joins your customer success calls. Right. So it means that you don't have to take notes. One of the features they've recently brought out is Gong AI. And that effectively has an Ask Me Anything option. So you can go into Gong AI and say, based on what I've spoken about with this customer, write me a client success plan. Now, there's elements where some CSMs would then just use that customer success plan as is.
Yeah.
So I think, again, it comes down to kind of quality control and at what point you're using it internally like that. Or then externally, if you're looking to use generative AI or, some sort of chat GPT to create emails that are going out to your customers, you've got to make sure that you're quality checking, but also putting in an element of personalization, either with the old school mail merge or, just making sure that whatever you're using, it's got a bit of personalization in it.
Absolutely. I think it comes down to things being very, very accessible and and they're, really useful tools that can just be perhaps employed in I don't want to say a lazy way, but again, if you're not quality checking things and you're sending out perhaps comms or just documents that aren't perhaps really think, actually, would I have sent that 18 months ago?
Yeah.
Would I have done that?
Yeah, and I think it's also, everybody in my team, I have them in my team because I value their specific thoughts, the way they specifically think about things, the way they view the job, the way they view the world, So when it comes down to stuff like that, I want to hear what they think, and I want them to use their personal creativity to, write something to their clients. But that doesn't mean that I don't want them to time save where possible, right? And I think that's one thing that AI is brilliant for, right? It kind of can help strip away a lot of those monotonous tasks and time save so that the CSMs are freed up to spend their time doing more, valuable things such as getting in front of their customers.
Oh, absolutely. You really hit the nail on the head there. I think it has such a useful and it's potential, and it's all about sort of marrying that kind of, like you said, the time saving, the automation, stuff that really does bog people down and takes away that valuable time from actually helping their clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just sort of thinking now, as we sort of, we're nearly in December, and where's the year gone?
I know.
We're nearly in December, and lots of people will be making their 2024 plans and thinking about where's their customer success strategy going to. What's it going to look like next year or the next 3 years? As somebody, you're at a customer success, at a customer success conference, get that out there. Lots of people are talking about, sort of predictions for next year and what AI is going to look like. What do you think is going to be perhaps some of the? What do you think? How do you think that trends in AI are going to impact the customer success role over the next 12 months? Do you think that's going to be wildly different to how we've seen things in 2023, or do you think it's going to be, more of the same?
I think it's gonna continue to boom, and I think it's going to continue to innovate. So I can see that the AI tooling is going to be a lot more accessible to the average man. I can see that generative AI is going to become even bigger than it already is. I think I saw something recently with voiceover artists, for example. If you're looking for a voiceover for your video, you can do about 15 different takes and you've still not got there. But if you could use a generative AI tool that actually you can choose the dialect, you can choose what tone they're using. You type in what you want to say, and it just creates it for you. So it can help reduce the human error element and really time save. And I think it's just going to continue to rise.
I think also, but like that, you hear the rise of deepfake, we have completely artificially made, obviously, but videos of people, and I think people, and also that plays into, I guess, when you've got clients in various locations with language. I mean, that's going to really impact things. But we've got clients in all areas of the globe. But I think what conversations I've been having with people in the customer success community, and also in the marketing community, and I think people are going to sort of slowly wise up, and I think people are going to have to be a bit, they're going to have to be a bit more savvy with the way they're using it, making sure that it's being sort of employed in an ethical way. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is no current regulations, right, when it comes to it. So I think that's definitely something that's going to be hitting in 2024. I think there's going to be a lot more talk about how do we regulate AI, and how do those regulations play into how do we use it. But there's some really exciting emerging technologies. I've been looking at a company called Efficio, which is a new startup, and effectively they have a virtual CSM that's called an aficionado.
Oh, wow.
And effectively, an example that one of their sales leads gave me was, if you go into a bank, okay, it's likely that nobody knows your name, right? But, and I don't know about you, but it's likely that the people that have millions, hundreds of millions in the bank, they're going to have a personalized CSM, I suppose. They're going to have a bank manager that knows their name when they walk in that store. But then if you think about the average Joe, like me, we don't get that level of service. So I think what they're trying to achieve is to be able to provide that level of, the higher level of service, but with artificial intelligence. And it's going to be a tool that, from what I can see, actually learns on the job. So whatever a customer says to it, it actually remembers what it's said, what's been said, and uses that in addition with frameworks that you've created to have a real personalized conversation. So they feel like they're getting a higher level of service than you could ever offer them, because as a bank, you can't offer that high level of service to everybody.
I mean, that's just, how do you feel about that? Like the idea of a fully AI customer success manager. I mean, I know you have chatbots, you have,
yeah.
It's, the brave new world.
I know. Well, I think this is what I would say, it is all about leaning in, isn't it? And I think things like a product such as this is going to be a really revolutionary for your tech touch or your low value, high churn clients. And the fact of the matter is, it still requires a lot of human input to get that set up. You've got to it's driven by humans, powered by AI, isn't it? So I think with all of these types of tools, they're still going to require that human element. And I think the CSMs that really do lean into AI are going to be the ones that are going to flourish in the years to come.
Oh, without a doubt. I think, like you said, there's a real danger if people, I guess, aren't using this new technology. Like you said, like whereas the internet, like we will be kind of left behind a bit. And it's all about kind of, I guess, implementing it and trying in a sort of, I guess, I think basically take things with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to completely, like you said, revolutionise. I mean, that technology you were saying there, completely revolutionise the way that we have customer relationship management. But oh, well, unfortunately, I think we're drawing to the close here. But thank you so much, Danielle, for joining me. I don't want to keep you for any more incredible sessions at the Customer Success Festival. It's been an absolute treat talking to you, and I can't wait for your session tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
It's going to be fantastic. And hope you have an amazing time.
Thanks so much. Pleasure as always.
Oh, thanks, Danielle.